wouldn't be bad actually. Yeah, I forgot that that's now an old. Now, in terms of pre-game, not a big deal. I've got it now. Pre-game testing. So I don't know what the rules are around when you start the feed, but I'd be happy to start the feed, things like that. Do you have a wife then? Let them know it's up to them, but I've got, if they want to soak up some pre-match and some atmosphere, I've got this, I've scripted the spiel to do so. Right. I reckon I'll do a minute's silence for Glenn Roland. Okay. And probably a few other little presentations, so it'll be quite a...
Checking in for the remix. You know, they had that 75 Street Brazil. Well, this year's gonna be called Cayocho. Que hola gata, que hola omega, and this how we gonna do it.
Testing, welcome to Sorel for this round one NPL clash. Cam's on the wires, twisting the tables, getting us nicely panned across to all the atmosphere around here. This is about how close I'll be holding the mic during the call, so Cam's just very professionally doing some testing. Good lad.
Thank you.
down for bits and pieces, but every now and then I'll pop my head out here just to make sure you're happy. If I'm talking too loud and speaking, just shush me. Yeah, no, great. But yeah, I'll sort of consider the long grass my own little technical area. Oh, Cam?
Yeah.
How will I know when the teams are on the screen?
As in...
They've got the team lists up there.
I'm not sure around that.
Yeah, okay. Because if I watch it on my phone, it'll be a 1 minute delay anyway, won't it?
Yeah, it'll probably be a bit delayed, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll quickly ask Thomas now.
It's not a big deal, like,
Yeah.
I can wing it, but that's fine. But yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Anyway,
I
I'm
guess
ready to
we'll just try and wing it, yeah.
Welcome everybody to this final of 5 games in round 1 of the NPL Tasmania 2026. 4 NPL games yesterday, this one to complete the round, and a game of particular excitement, emotion and significance. Today we're at Sorell, one of Tasmania's oldest towns, having belonged to the Mummaramina people for tens of thousands of years. Sorell was settled in 1808 and officially became a town in 1821. More than 2 centuries later, Sorell and its surrounds are one of Tasmania and Australia's fastest growing communities, growing at a rate 3.5 times the state average. And with that in mind, today, more than 2 centuries after becoming a town, Sorell finally arrives at the top table of Tasmanian football, hosting a statewide top-tier game for the first time. We have a good crowd of locals and dignitaries. Testing. Thank you. Welcome back. Sorry, after some technical audio difficulties, we are back here, ready almost for kickoff. Southeast United did the tough years in the Southern Championship. They built and recruited. They shrewdly leveraged the investment coming the way of such a fast-growing community. They rose to championship glory and a fairy tale statewide cup run all the way to the final. That was in years 6 and 7 of that championship journey. And here this afternoon they start a new chapter in a new look Tasmanian National Premier League. A perfectly observed tribute to South East United's former president, favourite son, biggest and loudest character, greatest leader and servant, Glenn Roland, who passed away suddenly in January. Glenn would have loved today. I'm sure there would have been more than a few tears of pride. He was the main reason South East United are here today, debuting in the NPL, along with the championship-winning players and staff who got them there. He was the indisputable heart and soul of this home club, but tragically, with one of the triumphs of his life imminent, just weeks away from seeing his beloved club enter the promised land, his own heart and his own health couldn't quite take him the distance. On a mostly joyous day of celebration, the paddock fell silent, respectfully, emotionally, in tribute and memory of Glenn Roland. South East coach Adam Shackloth has emphasised continuity, faith in the same players who brought South East United into the NPL. On the other hand, Clarence Zebras, another club that are chasing a rags to riches story this year. They'll need to perform better than they have in the previous 2 NPL seasons, given that relegation has started up this year in the NPL. They'll need an improvement if they are to extend their 7-year stay in the league. All in readiness then. Switching over before we get started. South East will attack towards where you'd say most of the spectators are, and also their facilities at the, I would say, the southern end, affectionately known as the paddock. Referee Josh Clement took charge of the game yesterday between Kingborough and Riverside, but he's looking fit and fresh and sprightly today to back up. And we're underway with Zebras kicking off, playing from right to left and immediately going direct into the far corner, but to little effect except for a goal kick. So, the very first South East United player who will get a kick in the NPL is actually their goalkeeper. Mitch Stalker put it into play. South East looking to play out, but Zebras have won it back at this point. All but one in the in South East's defensive half. Zebras taking their time against the mid-block, going wide. Mostly a South East outnumber out here, so Zebras need to be patient. Nick Milicic here, the captain, swinging one in speculatively and headed clear there for the first corner of the game. So a front foot start for for Clarence Zebras. A right-footed in-swinger likely, unless it goes short. already a little bit of niggle regarding the rules of the game. He looks 10 metres away to me. Played short and then sent in, and again, there's a few little bit of early season rustiness as the cross comes to nothing. Southeast a chance to get forward quicker now with Zebras somewhat out of position from the set piece. Number 30 is Ben Whitehall, but given away. Number 9 is twos for Clarence Zebras. A little bit of body contact and a foul given. In fact, it's not. The flag is up on the far side from the official. It did look like he'd gotten in behind, potentially offside from the long ball. Nice mild day in Sorel. We've had some hot days recently, but temperatures in the high teens, a light breeze. Pretty good conditions for comfortable football in round one. Some territory gained by Southeast as Zach Pentony puts it out of play. Swung in, fairly long throw by Dwayne Walsh, but again to little effect. Zebras will have the defensive throw instead. Mostly direct at this point, no particular effort to consolidate and get into the game. Both teams feeling each other out, looking for a bit of a weakness. Obviously a huge occasion for both sides. Long throw down the line, flicked on successfully, but the Southeast captain Nick Zammit at right back there to intervene. And he's intervened only to the point where Ryan Lynch was through, but then cut out. And the long ball forward will ultimately consolidate Zebra's possession. Long again. Zammit underneath it, but called out of it by his centre-back partner. Number 8 is Jacob Sartori. Again, the fairly obvious line of 3 from Zebras able to outnumber and take back control. Long again. Fairly end-to-end at this point. Hoogsloot dodges the tackle, plays in, but it is nicely cut out at the last minute there. Otherwise, that was likely a good chance. Congested in midfield, both sides looking for time on the ball, looking for space. Going wide for that reason. Moses Bosco out on the far right, taking on his opponent. Clement has a think and says, corner ball. But mostly attempts to spring some diagonal passes and get in behind at this point. Presumably as the running gets into the legs, there'll be a little bit more effort probably to control the ball in midfield. So, another corner. Zebras took the previous one short. There's not an option for that this time. Swung in as an outswinger, but not unlike the last time. Wasted behind for a goal kick. Not quite finding the range with the set pieces early on. Zammit. It's Walsh. Again long, again given away into the middle. Hatcher gets it clear. Not fully clear. Again, long ball into the channel. Overhit. Not a problem in behind that southeast line being marshalled by Zammit. Southeast opting to play out. Opting to play out to the point where the press was invited and taken, but only to the effect of a southeast throw. Flick on from the throw, again direct, but direct to a 2v3. Not necessarily comfortably handled by Nick Vilicic, but cleaned up. Number 8 for Zebras is Bailey Johnson in the middle of the park. Here's Bosco. Again marshalled out there by Jacob Sartori. Another change of possession. This time Zebras consolidate. Take some sting out. And may, with all this space, now look to play out and build something a little more intricate. Again, direct down the channel. Again, given away to Zebras. Again, chance to counter. Diagonal ball, looking for number 62, Matthias Collins. It was played in, a back header that didn't have the most heat on in the world, but worked out in the end. Sam Two's linking up out here, but decidedly muscled off the ball by Dwayne Walsh. Southeast, a little more patient now. Collins, able to turn, but not able to find feet. And again, searching through ball, but unsuccessful to a reasonably deep Southeast defence. Milicic with the throw just in front of the benches. Again, the long throw down the line. Zammit read it best, ahead of Twos. A little bit of a holding contest there, and there were some hands, and indeed in fact it's offside, returning from an offside position was Ben Whitehall. So a chance again for Zebras to build, and build they do with 3+1 at the back here as they're playing out in attacking shape. 21 for Zebras is Jackson Richardson, but again the final ball just lacking through to Mitch Stalker, who's had plenty of the ball so far, but nothing meaningful to deal with. Headed clear by Sam Bosco, and for the first time in a while Southeast will have the opportunity to come into their attacking half, get into attacking shape and build something from here. Long throw, very much the order of the game so far, and again pumped into a crowd of players. It was flicked on from Southeast, and it will come back for another chance. And that was an important interception 2 times, but Matthias Collins, a good chance, and just over the bar. It was a ping-pong heading contest in there. You'd think difficult to get much precision, but left as a 2-on-2 virtually in front of goal, and the best chance of the game so far falling to the home side. First time that they've really had a chance to build in their own half, and the chance falling to Cade Smith. Wasn't able to keep it down. Hatcher, again, looking long, looking diagonal. Looked like it might get over the top of the defender, but didn't quite make it. Now Mavey for Zebras, again looking long, again reasonably easy for Stalker. Just some calls to relax from each of the benches. A tense occasion, big day for both clubs. Both clubs maybe trying to force it a little early on here, but both likely to get into a rhythm. Hatcher trying to lead from the back. And Sam Bosco couldn't quite find his range up the line. Again, no particular desire here from Clarence to press high. Just into a mid-block with only one man high. Long throw again, couple of heading contests. Roosted forward again. Collins will compete with Pentony. Slight talk of hands in the back, but not enough in Clement's view. Again, the deep-lying playmaking coming from the Zebras skipper. Looking right where there is some decent numbers here for Zebras. Hatcher again playmaking from deep. Looking long for Twos with the cutback. Apologies. The player is Ryan Lynch who cut it back. Zebras again. And again a mid-block as opposed to any kind of high press from Southeast. Played into the channel again. Dwayne Walsh, uncompromising. Knocking it into the virtual row Z over that side of the paddock. Milicic, good odds that this goes long, we think. And the players and referee agree, judging by their positioning. Milicic floats it in, floated rather than flat, and again qualifying as a header on goal. It was Moses Bosco, number 11, rising, but too far forward of the front post to really make it effective. Probably a shot on target, one each now from each side, both headers. Southeast's chance clearly better. Zammit being closed down to good effect too, but helped out by his teammate Walsh, who again took control, and a late contact on Walsh after he'd played the ball will get Southeast out of minor bother there. You felt they were odds on to be able to play out ultimately, but Clarence got over well, created a decent little overload out here, had them pinned to the line. Free kick eased the pressure. It's Jacob Sartori dropping in deep to link the play. All the way back to Stalker, who tries long and semi-effectively there, headed on. Number 13 for Southeast is Pat Quinlan. And Stalker again to get things started. Zammit again. And again, the playing out from Southeast has not quite gone to plan. They will probably clean up here, although Twos able to take on Zammit, able to go past Zammit, shouts for a pen. He looks to be off his feet at the moment that any contact was made. Josh Clement not sufficiently impressed, and I think it was only ever really a half shout in optimism. But that sounded like, looked like, and is indeed a foul on Pentony. A little bit of disagreement in the Southeast ranks as to the extent of that foul, but it certainly sounded meaty enough from where I am 15 metres away. And Pentony just being advised by Clement that he'll keep control of things. He'll respond to any dissent. No need for things to fire up this early into events. Milicic will swing it in. Unmistakably going to go in long to that stack of players at the back post. Again, Milicic with the left-footed delivery. The double bluff, which goes short. Pentony, but not a double bluff that pays off for the Clarence Zebras Magicians. Another goal kick in the end. And a chance to play out again. The call is of narrow for Zebras. They are coming in narrow and effectively inviting Southeast to try and play through them in those congested narrow areas. Southeast have probably done that to best effect with that move. But the final ball from Sartori, again, just a little overhit. Couldn't quite play them in down that left-hand side. Again, just a little arm wrestle, a through ball here, a searching cross ball there. Just sizing each other out. Zebras again regain control. And again go long to the flank. And this time Ryan Lynch can run at Walsh. Runs at him to decent effect, and a swerving cross. Very much Zebras' best chance so far, and Lynch, as so many inside forwards, opposite-footed inside forwards do nowadays, took on the opponent, got into a decent position, and used his preferred right foot to curve it not far wide. One of the best moments of the game so far. Zammit. Again, I think Clarence have seen enough encouragement to press with a little more ferocity as Southeast attempt to play out now. Same here on Walsh. And Walsh will not mess around. Laying it forward. Hoopsloot cleans up. Powerful player. Gets forward and feeds it out left to the other Sartori, Sam Sartori. Enough Zebras defenders in the area to be able to clean up, and then Zebras potentially with some joy on the counter here. Lynch again running at Walsh, as gave him a little bit of productivity a few moments ago. Oh, and a broken tackle, and then a firm shoulder from Sartori to make up for that and take back control for Southeast. Ultimately another move to nothing. But again, both sides that started in a mid-block and looked to hit wide channel balls to see if they could get around those mid-blocks. That's evolved slightly now, with Zebras seeing a bit of encouragement to press a little higher. In anticipation that Stalker will send this long, it's very much the old-fashioned mid-block meeting in the middle of the park. Zebras able to mop up this interesting duel between Walsh and Lynch continuing, and Twos gets the better there and is able to play in Walsh into a promising position. Again has a shot at goal, again curving towards that back post, this time with less venom, and Stalker able to gather it without much trouble. But that's shaping so far as the duel of the game, that duel out here on the Clarence left between Lynch and Walsh. Walsh strong, aggressive, uncompromising. Lynch a little bit tricky, a little bit of ability to just drop the shoulder and show some flair, do something a little unpredictable, often wanting to cut in there. Walsh puts it back in, this time to Hoogsloot coming to link play. 2-on-2 goes the way ultimately of Zebras. Hatcher out to knock it clear. Jacob Sartori, and a nice little flick on. It won't end up at the feet of Cade Smith. But Smith involved enough, getting back enough to be able to put the kibosh on any thoughts of a counter-attack that Zebras had down their right. Clearly a back four in waiting for Southeast. As I read it, a pretty solid line of three in front in midfield. Hoogsloot here just linking up between attack and midfield. And I think it must have hit Clement. I hadn't noticed, but the drop ball suggests that the ref got one of his first touches of the season. It was again a searching, speculative ball forward from Southeast, but cut out. Regular changes of possession at the moment. Collins with a little bit of space on the right. Chooses to go first time, and no problem at all there for Josh Jones. Hatcher, common means of triggering the play out for Zebras, and they've broken some lines here with Moses Bosco. They'll link up on the right. Twos, and that is definitely into the back, all day long by Cade Smith. Promising position, probably a little far out for optimal shooting ability, but again, just an ability here for Zebras to test out the Southeast defence. Ryan Lynch standing over it. Probably Zebras' most impactful attacking player so far. Southeast have left a big overload of three players here forward. On the right wing, they've only got 7 outfielders back to defend this, and it's not going to cause them any issues because Lynch took the speculative option, tried his luck, and roosted it well high. Southeast again, just baiting the press. Sartori dropping in to link. Again, quickly to halfway. Hatcher will clean up. Again goes long. It's a range war at this point. Twos putting on lots of pressure. Had a good pre-season, did Sam Twos. Finding the net in pre-season no fewer than 8 times. And he and Lynch so far looking a good, speedy, tricky combination up there. And the physicality of Southeast just again getting another free kick, another opportunity for Zebras to load up, this time with the left-footed in-swinging delivery. Southeast had the first and quite good chance of the game, but it's been Zebras on top the last 5 or so, you would say. Swung in now, somewhat dangerously to the back post. Hatcher across, and it is in! And Zebras are up and running in the NPL for 2026.
I'll get the player's number fairly shortly. But again, set piece was dangerous towards the back. Hatcher got up well, played it very dangerously back across the line. It may have been played in fact, by, well, it looked like it could have been played in of a Southeast defender, but I think it's actually gone in from the skipper, Nick Milicic, who's been in the right place at the right time at the back post. And a setback for the NPL debutantes. Zebras, obviously, difficulties last season, well known. They didn't win many, they didn't lead many for too long. But they have the initiative here at Sorel. And you'd say it was just about coming. Zebras have been flexing their muscle, had a couple of decent shots in the 5 or 10 minutes before it. And they're away here with Pentony as well. Breaking lines with that run and straight away going for the jugular, going for the southeast penalty area to put immediate pressure on. Lynch stood up by a different opponent this time. This is Jackson Richardson. Not a lot of room, so he comes back and we'll have a look through Mathy. Mathy twice has fancied that left-footed speculative cross. This time a swinging ball to the back post doesn't hurt Southeast. Knocked forward and a hopeful little flick on by Collins. But ultimately there didn't look to be the numbers forward of Collins to really hurt the Zebras. Comes to nothing again. Milicic with the throw. And a friendly word from the bench. Some advice for the skipper perhaps. Brought a wry smile. Put into the mixer and Southeast with their outnumber able to deal with it. But given straight back to Zebras again. Lynch again. This time two opponents. Tries and manages to beat both of them, including Walsh again. And Lynch again cutting in on his right foot will get a dangerous opportunity. Third time that Lynch has cut in on his right foot, beaten numerous opponents, and had the space for a decent crack. And this one not far wide either, maybe a foot or two away. As a well-known sports commentator that we lost recently would have said, almost centimetre perfect. But Ryan Lynch, pretty unambiguously the player of this game so far in an attacking sense, notwithstanding that it's Milicic, I think, on the score sheet. Goal kick long again. Again long to numbers. Hoogsloot battling in there. Battling well in there and finding Sartori. And Sartori turning and playing in Collins quickly. And Collins will make his way into the area, and it's taken a really good recovery run there by Pentony to come back and recover, not just recover to the expense of a corner, but knock the ball back off Collins for a goal kick. A little bit of dissent, the first major flashpoint of dissent, with some disagreement with the decision there. But just a little 50%ers going Zebra's way at the moment. Reflected in the scoreline and reflected in most of the pattern of play. Southeast doing okay to the front third, but just not able to cause regular problems in there at this time. That long ball will be too long for Pentony, who's had a very busy 1 minute and might be grateful for the rest as he recovers into the mid-block for the goal kick. But when you consider Pentony getting forward from left back and Lynch on this left side, it's a challenge for Southeast over on the right here. Walsh being run at. Zammit having to be aware it's the right centre back. Southeast again willing to play out. And willing to play out over what's now a decidedly high press from Zebras. They have gotten out, and Hoogsloot's clear header didn't stick. Sam Bosco moving forward, but final ball given up. It is back at the feet of Zebras, back at the feet of Bailey Johnson. Now Richardson, and he again, no real hesitation, no particular thought of switching the point and pivot of attack. Straight away an ambitious ball in, looking for the direct threat, but to no avail. It will invite Southeast to play out again. And that's one of the more intriguing dynamics of the game so far. Again, they will get out, although not in a controlled manner, having to go route one after things didn't quite break down. A little bit of teammate confusion there, but Sartori will recover quite comfortably. And Collins played in there by, I think it was Whitehall, but went a little early. Offside flag up on the near side here. Again, just decent in that middle third, but every effort so far, apart from that headed chance, every effort so far to get into the front third and threaten, not quite going to plan. Zebras now willing to play out, and Lynch dropping in and finding Bosco with a searching crossfield ball. I think he has found him, but no, it has overrun him, and indeed the flag was up on the far side already. It looked a decent ball, but Bosco, with all that speed to get him behind, just used it a little early. Again, both sides favouring that diagonal cross ball, looking to get fast wingers in behind. Some hands there on Hoogsloot, but Josh Clement looked, waited, considered any advantage. There was none, and Southeast will have a chance through Whitehall, by the looks of it, to load up, get the ball into their area, see if the likes of Hoogsloot and Sartori, any of their taller players, can do something to dangerous effect here. Just need a little lift, get the crowd involved, get the mood up, remind themselves that it's been reasonably even. The ball from Whitehall fairly comfortably cleared away. 23 for Southeast is not on my list, so I'll get that sorted at half-time. But now a chance to break and a chance to play in Ryan Lynch, but too long from that side. Again, lands with Stalker. Stalker, you always got a good bet going long for Hoogsloot, who didn't need the aerial ability, just needed the chest to set it up for a teammate. And again, a long channel ball, this time cut out by Sam Bosco at right back for Zebras. But Southeast, again, a little bit more into it last few minutes, keeping the ball a little better, able to build a little bit better. Oh, got it. I had him down as 13. All right. Pat Quinlan's 23, we've found out. But again, the set piece roosted into a fairly crowded Zebras area and dealt with reasonably comfortably. Touch of finesse will find Pentony on this left-hand side, but Walsh out decisively and winning the throw. The peril that has built a few times down Zebra's left quickly cut out by Walsh on that occasion. Reasonably long throw again. It was a 2-on-1 and Zebras prevailed. Now Walsh. Again, Milicic at the drop of it and able to clear, but Sartori again looking ambitiously into the area. No problem for Jones. This range war continues, looking for a mistake. Looking for a defender that's just caught napping a little bit late, that doesn't drop off quick enough, that doesn't track the run in behind. Zebras now to play out. Playing out as patiently as we've seen either team. Milicic, they've worked this reasonably well. Only one to trouble them, but the mid-block behind that, and then they need to break that down. Pentoni. Oh, and a nice little flick up there by Twos. But Lynch this time moved over too early. Good vision by Twos. The little back flick to play in his strike partner. It looked dangerous enough until the flag went up. We've had, I guess because of this style of play and Sides looking to get him behind on a regular basis. We've had several offsides already first quarter of this game. Good jump by Sartori and flicked on. 22 San Bosco dropping in narrow as you want your right back to do in that situation and cleaning up territory and opportunity here for Southeast. You can see the excellent facilities, immaculate modern facilities here at Sorrel for Southeast United. They'll be heading for the jacuzzi straight away at full time. Long throw sent in. Hatcher at the back, able to clean up after the flick on. Southeast have the numbers and duly win the contest. But again, Bitty out there, Clement having to intervene as there was just a little bit more physicality on the ball. A little bit of match up here. There's the first little bit of spite coming into it. I think it was Quinlan. No, it's a word or two going on between Whitehall and his opposite number. Both skippers out there fairly quickly. Nick Zammit in there quickly. Milicic in there quickly. And after consultation with the assistant referee, after all that, free kick to Zebras for the overly physical contact. Hatcher not showing much inclination to play out here. Hatcher long again. 5th or 6th time he's gone searching for a mistake at the back by Southeast. All the way back to Jones. Zebras again spread forward, bursting forward, 5 or 6 in the attacking area, and Walsh has to buy time to get into the back third and set up. Milicic through for Matthew. Then Lynch to send it in. Cleared at the back post by Quinlan. Searching out that back post where Clarence Zebras found the most joy and found the goal. But Quinlan, the fullback, not the most tall and rangy defender as a fullback, but able to deal sufficiently with the threat there at the expense of the corner. Again, the Zebras set-piece corner strategy looks reasonably clear-cut. Always the option of the short, but a cluster of bodies in for the long as well. Twos coming short, and it does end up with Sam Twos before played back, and the 2-on-1 proves very, very, very fruitful. It was ability by ganging up 2-on-1 there on the defender. They were able to move inwardly on goal, and I think it was Lynch again who, this time moving in on his left foot, managed to, I think if I count his 4th shot of the game, and again, one that hasn't missed by much, but his ability to beat a 1-on-1 and sometimes a 2-on-2 and really advance directly at goal has been Southeast's greatest problem so far. The effort to play out by Southeast, again, not working out, but that is a brilliant comeback and win. And it'll finish at the feet here of Hoogsloot. Southeast, for the first time in a little while, able to build something to get some numbers forward and try to build in their front third, but it is cut out by good effect by Pentony, who will play in Lynch. Walsh strong, decisive across this time, and of all the duels they've had, Walsh was the dominant force in that one, and he's gotten forward here, the fullback, able to sweep it in. The keeper would be favourite, and the keeper is the winner of it, despite Sartori just giving him a little something to think about in the air. Clement has allowed him to play it from his hands without needing to drop it down. Free kick. Here's Moses Bosco, turned and in behind. Did well against Quinlan there, but Quinlan, enough pace, enough energy to get back at him and to good effect there as his teammate Sartori steps in and wins the ball. Again, the ball searching for the front third is where it breaks down for Southeast. And an opportunity here for Josh Mathy to burst forward. He's looking for Lynch. I don't see a flag at this point. Now I see a flag. Their waiting game was played. Lynch was through. Extremely dangerous if it was on side. Right-footed, one-on-one with the keeper. But he again had gone extremely early. Well, I couldn't say extremely early. Early enough for it to be offside. But Southeast trying to hold that line there. Most of the time it's paying off. It's only going to have to go wrong once with Ryan Lynch bursting through. And they could be facing a long way back. Long again from the goal kick. About 50-50 play out, 50-50 long. Milicic comfortably up this time. This time building through the likes of Bailey Johnson. Clear to go then though. Hoogsloot was up. Moses Bosco coming back and finding his captain and centre back with the ball. Whatever was seen there by the referee. Advantage given. Out here to Pentony. Taking on Walsh. A little bit of space. Well positioned in the middle. Number 8 is Bailey Johnson, and he gave too much of it to Quinlan, I think it was. So, Jones out quickly, and had to be. Now Mathy, but only as far as Ben Whitehall. Again, a direct searching ball. Lots and lots of changes of possession in this middle third, but Whitehall, opportunity here to run at Mathy, at Bosco, sorry. Does so, and Bosco opts for safety. A good little crowd in here, my estimate. Somewhere pushing up towards 100. Not far short of that. Mostly on that far side, and obviously mostly for Southeast in what is essentially a local derby as well, a local Eastern Shore derby. Milicic speculates with that creative left foot. Both centre-backs willing to go wide and early, looking for a weakness. Yeah, Zebra's very much Southeast's closest rival in the division. About 20 minutes from here, based at Wentworth Park. A fixture that, as if it needed any more pressure and scrutiny and excitement, is essentially a local derby. Another long searching ball. Walsh well positioned to deal with this one. Cutting in from right back to occupy the centre and off his waist and thigh area, not a back pass. Stalker goes long, and it'll be a good effort to keep it in play, I think, here. And sure enough, Pentony over the top of Collins to slow down any quick attacking plans that Southeast had. Walsh with the long floaty throw. Sartori on. Clay Smith up for the third or fourth iteration of the head tennis. And given away again. Just that ability to keep it and consolidate in midfield, and it puts the danger man Lynch on the run again as Zebra's counter-attack. He's more or less double teamed now and needed to be, but splits the angle of play. Set up in the end for Bailey Johnson. Always rolling back onto his foot. Rolling back onto and up his foot, and difficult to control from there. Maybe snatched at it. Comfortably over, but fifth or sixth shot now for Zebras. Southeast, just the one, maybe two that I can recall, and still searching for some foothold and control in the game, the newcomers. Zammit playing from wide, looking in for Sartori, and managed to shoulder it back. I realise there are two Sartoris. Oh, you'll have to forgive me when I don't always put an initial or a first name in front. Oh, and a little bit of an appeal here for delaying the restart. And Josh Clement agrees with the assessment that Pentony did not need to put a foot on that ball and knock it away there. Bit of a needless one, given that I don't think there was any particular prospect of South East putting it into play as Walsh now does long, and South East win the flick on, and a good little bit of space there for Collins, but it was quickly cut out by Hatcher, who will advance with the ball. Twos coming back to link play and link up with Pentony. Didn't quite stick at the feet of Bailey Johnson, and in the end, decent spell here for South East as they'll win the free kick and take it quickly through Quinlan. Spread out quickly into the area that Quinlan would normally occupy, but Cade Smith does on this occasion. Here is Whitehall. Again, goes directly as is his regular want, and not a problem for Jones. It's too straight a ball and too overhit a ball towards the keeper. Zammit up strongly at the back there over twos. Bailey Johnson again chose to run with it and didn't work out when a bounce pass might have been the better option. Clarence are going to recover the ball, and while they have a decent line of one high and then another and then three strung across midfield, there was no particular appetite by South East to press high and potentially expose themselves there. They've dropped in and defended patiently, and Miletic's ball did find Pentony in the corner, but not with enough effect to be able to cross effectively. Cade Smith speculating in behind, and Hatcher with his experience and his composure able to clean up and also keep possession. Walsh controlled with his shoulder, so no problem. There's the other Santori building up here and playing a nice little 1-2 with Hoogsloot, who this time will play a good ball effectively into Whitehall. But again, just as they enter that final third, not able to either have multiple numbers and options to be able to play through, or to play that final ball that just opens up and gives Zebras a problem in front of goal. Zebras, one of the more patient build-ups again. Just a mid-block with three South East players willing to commit into the half and just give them a little bit to think about. Pentony being stopped from the extra couple of metres or two that he would have liked. I think he's now taking them anyway. Brian Murphy was of the view that his left back should be able to take that extra touch, and the play down the line and into the corner is one Zebras. Another corner. A little bit of interplay between the very affable Irishman, Brian Murphy, and the assistant referee, probably, about the positioning of that throw. Either way, it's resulted in the corner, which Zebra's most dangerous attacker so far, Lynch, will take. Having the set piece means he's not in the middle, of course, but the height of Hatcher helped bring about the first goal. Again, aimed at the back post this time overhit. Too far for Hatcher to cause the sort of flick back danger that he caused for the Zebras goal. And Brian Murphy looking happy, relaxed, now just giving some instructions. Probably for the first time. Both managers have been reasonably happy to sit and see how things pan out. Adam Shackloff still sitting, contemplating. Another chance for South East to get into the front third here. See if they can improve their delivery and front third build-up. They'll play back and have a think. They'll come in through Caleb Smith. And again, the searching ball, not able to find a dangerous target, mopped up from behind by Zebras. It's actually a 2-on-2 here, but it's not going to matter because that is half-time at Sorel. And Zebras, you'd have to say, have impressively had the better of that half. They've had the most chances, particularly through the dangerous-looking Ryan Lynch. But it was a set piece that gave them the lead. But undid a left-sided corner, floated in dangerously to the back post. Zebra skipper Hatcher heading it back across goal.
Whose idea was it anyway? To add sweet, spicy honey sriracha sauce to the big brekkie range.
The visitors
The boss,
a
of
1-0
course.
lead. In what's been
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
a fascinating duel. Lots of long balls back and forward, searching each other out. A chance for Southeast now to go in, regroup, think about some different ideas, particularly in the front third and attacking build-up. But at half-time at Sorrel in the final game of round one, it's Southeast United 0, Clarence Zebras 1.
Like is when he lets you steal his fries. Real love is when he lets you steal his El Maco. The El Maco is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Any feedback on you can hear me, I see. Any feedback? used pre-game, but I...
The footage looks great.
Looking good? Good.
Yeah, so we'll remember the next night.
Oh,
Rick,
Yes.
Where are the Browns from?
So we're actually going to go away.
Are they playing catch?
Maybe some highlight games.
Yeah, right. I turned up here assuming that you had them.
Yeah, I think you're talking about going on holiday together.
Oh, okay.
I think Declan's relationship broke down.
Right, yeah. They do like.
I better get back over to the rest.
All right, mate.
Yeah.
I'll call out to you if I get the news that you the information you wanted about Lynch. Yeah, no, got nothing on him. What's up? Hello. Yeah, probably about 6. All right, I'm just commentating the game out at Sorrel actually, but I'll call you once this is done and I'll let you know. Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to Tasmania's newest NPL football town, Sorell, and the Southeast Complex, hosting top-tier statewide Tasmanian football for the first time today. We've had a fitting tribute, emotional tribute to the late Glenn Roland, a legendary figure in these parts and more responsible than any one individual for this day coming about for Southeast United. Clarence Zebras, of course, have their own boy may good story that they want to write over the next 6 months and beyond. Zebras have never cracked the NPL top four, and they'll obviously need significant improvement on last season's form if they're to continue their 7-year stay in the division. New head coach Brian Murphy has both promoted and recruited plenty of young blood in aid of that mission, that survival and consolidation mission. Murphy wants his Clarence troops to play with Maori Vakapapa, he said, a proud focus on shared values and identity and culture. But you'd dare say that the affable Irishman also has no illusions that top-flight football is very much a brutal results business, not least after his difficult time at Glenorchy Knights. And Zebras have a good opportunity here. They have the initiative, they have the lead against the NPL New Boys, who are also their local derby rivals. Southeast will need something else if they're going to take something from their opening visit, or their opening home game in the NPL. First half in which they had some midfield control at times and looked decent going forward, but couldn't quite put Zebras under the sort of pressure that they'll need to, with a likelihood of hitting the scoreboard. We're underway again, this time the home side playing from right to left, and Sam Sartori doing hard running to get in there and set up an initial attack for Southeast. Moses Bosco, who came with Murphy from Glenorchy Knights, and some decent physicality there from Nick Devereaux, able to win it decisively at left back for Southeast, and now put Quinlan through, who again goes long, looking presumably for a late darting run through the middle, of which there was none. And now Zebras to play out through Milicic. Obviously no particular onus on Zebras here. They'll want a second if at all possible. They'll want as many as possible, but there's very much the onus now on the home team and the NPL debutants to make the running and get back in the game. And that might be reflected in some of the patience that Zebras show in and around their back third, the middle third, playing out, keeping the ball, building passing sequences. The American Hatcher, who also came with Brian Murphy from Knights, and it's his forward ball that is dealt with by Devereaux, again cutting into a central position and winning the header, despite not exactly being a rangy 6-footer. Here's Pentony cutting in off the left, but no venom with the final ball, and Zamet able to cut it out, and not just cut it out, but actually leap a reasonably decent counter-attack that ends with Sam Sartori putting the ball into the back corner to equalise for the home team just minutes into the second half. Top flight takeoff for Southeast United, and it didn't look that likely in the first half, but they have taken only minutes in the second for a 2 or 3 pass quick move to play in one of the Sartori brothers, who I'll give you a first name for in a moment. And any joy that Clarence brought into half-time, Sam Sartori it is, he's right in front of me. But he cut in well, he wasn't closed down, he had space to get his head up, and the finish over Jones was an absolute ripper, beautifully placed. Dennis Cometti would definitely be saying centimetre perfect on that one. And with a blink of the eye, out of nowhere, 1-1. And that will lift the mood around here as well. The half-time team talks already put halfway into the bin. Perhaps not Adam Shackloth's one, but it's back to square one, and Zebras try to respond by building something on their left, which was not a foul, but somewhat spectacularly cut out. And that long diagonal ball, which I think this one was Hatcher, but the centre-backs have been trying all day long. This one to very good effect. Finally bringing the equaliser for Southeast. The long throw cleared out. Again roosted in by Milicic. Bosco got the flick on, but couldn't get it into a dangerous position for twos. And a 3-on-1 comes across here. And look, Clarence would have been away with good numbers, but unfortunately, twos, diminutive though he is, put plenty of physicality on Quinlan, who has not gotten up yet and is, I think, feeling that perhaps a yellow card was warranted. The referee disagrees. It was a reasonably stock standard pass. It didn't seem to be hugely reckless or out of control, but Quinlan's a bit ginger. It was a 3-on-1 and he was seeking to dribble through three opponents, so perhaps not to be unexpected. And that long ball in is flicked on off the back of a defender and will result in a Southeast United corner. By my reckoning, that's their first corner of the game too. So 45 minutes very much in the balance of Clarence Zebras, but Shackloth has had his troops in, talked through some principles, perhaps made some adjustments, and the start of the second half, if anything, in the balance of the home team. Played across and safe enough there for Jones, a little bit close to the goal line from Whitehall, and despite being an outswinger, Jones able to come and collect fairly comfortably. And now, for more or less the first time, seeing something of a high press from Southeast as three men came and challenged there, and eventually Zebras went long and eventually gave it away. So a new high press from Southeast and having some immediate effect. A second corner in the blink of an eye. And again, it was Sartori getting forward, getting one-on-one, drawing the challenge, and able to earn a second corner in a matter of minutes for Southeast. The teams have changed ends. One or two might be wondering if they've changed shirts at half-time. Just going to work through here and try and find my naming sheet. Again, Whitehall with the right-footed in-swinger, no question of this going short, and it's again, this time an in-swinger, but again from Whitehall, too close to the keeper. Ironic to say, given that the corner which was scored in this game was extremely close to the goal line. Oh, and that is robust. It's just a coming together, it's just a collision, but it certainly was a firm thwack between twos and Quinlan, and now twos with his pace and ability is able to get away, and likelihood of a promising attack stop there. And it is kicking off now with a little bit of venom. It was turned over in transition. Twos was away but being held, and yeah, now it's on. I think that little bit of spite that happened in this area of the pitch a minute ago involving Quinlan, and then that breakaway, a promising opportunity for Clarence, and the arms were up, the hold was happening, and it's now a little bit of handbags. A little bit of work here for Josh Clement to do to just get the football back to the forefront. Both sides are going to need calm heads to play their best football. Josh Clement has just gone across to have a little word with the AR. Obviously there was a melee, and all three match officials would have needed to have eyes on that. Clement taking some advice. In the meantime, Zebras are looking to call a substitution. Just an ongoing discussion of a minute or so between Josh Clement and the AR, and now the substitution for Zebras will be allowed. Josh Mathy coming off. And the player on is a lad called Palmer, whose first name I'll give you in a moment. Mathy's coming off, and it's a straight swap. You would assume that this young lad plays as a defender. Finley Palmer, number 18, has entered the field early in the half. So an early exit for Josh Mathy, replaced by Finley Palmer. And a little bit of housekeeping to do here for Josh Clement in that melee situation. And the descent is starting to ramp up a little bit. Zammit now asking whether he should have to be back that far, and various questioning of the officials. The equaliser was just the light the touch paper start that the second half needed for that, but it's not going to be 1-1 for long, because Moses Bosco has stolen in at the back post. I don't know if there was ball watching, but no one from South East acted decisively to get across and clear. And Moses Bosco from the curling low ball in ended up on the end of it to restore Clarence lead just minutes after they had been pegged back. That is a bit of a gut punch for South East, having just got themselves back in the game, having looked like the better team in the opening minutes of this second half, to concede a set piece like that, to perhaps lose a little bit of focus, to maybe just lose a little bit of temperament on the occasion, who knows, but that was not, given the height of the free kick and the area that it was played into, was not beautifully defended. And it's advantage Zebras again, and South East will need to regather their heads, recompose, and have more of what they showed in the opening minutes of this half. Long again, looking to get in behind. Milicic was comfortable to let it roll in behind him, and now needs to play safe under the attentions of Walsh, who's looking a little higher on that right side in this half. Probably is still playing fullback, but certainly had gotten forward and is staying forward in this play. And again, a shot that was just gotten under, I think, by the new boy, Finley Palmer. And never going to trouble Jones. One of those half volleys that takes off like a golf ball if you get underneath them. And a few minutes hush after a very spicy 5 or 10 minute start to the half. I think both sides perhaps now recognising the need to get calm heads back into the contest to both their advantages. Jackson Richardson out here, but robbed by Sam Sartori. Advantage played for the hand into the back of Sam Sartori by Richardson. In the end, there was no advantage, so Josh Clement pulls it back. And if this is anything on type, this will be fairly roosted into the mixer by Whitehall, as has been the case from most of these set pieces. The one set piece that's been hit flat and hard and whipped into a penalty area was put away by Moses Bosco a couple of minutes ago. Whitehall floats in. It is won by a South East United head. I think it was Hoogsloot would be the natural candidate, but he was heading from close to 18 yards out. Difficult to get that on target, especially with any venom. It is a shot on goal though again for South East. Goal and shot, which is more than they mustered in that first half. Certainly showing enough signs that they're very much in this game, but conceding so soon after having equalised is always a little bit of a psychological burden. Sartori jumping first, Bosco then jumping, and now Lynch, who's had an excellent game, and deciding that it was worth trying his luck from that range. Little deflection, took it pretty safely in the hands of Stalker, and Stalker's long ball finding the very, very busy Sam Sartori at the start of this second half. I think South East felt there was a shirt pull in there on Sartori as he tried to make space for the shot that was eventually blocked. Zammit, taller than twos, and while neither headed it in the end, Zammit seemed to have the best physicality of that contest. And hit forward long and then sliced into touch by Jackson Richardson. But it will give Clarence the opportunity to regroup for Quinlan's throw. Quinlan, again long, looking for the obvious target of Hoogsluk, but again the flick on, that final ball, just looking for a dangerous teammate, and instead finding Jones with some regularity. Opportunity now, Hoogsluk playing in deep positions and just playmaking from back here. Again, Sartori, who's almost the Ryan Lynch of the second half, popping up on that exact same wing, cutting in, very busy, looking dangerous. And just as I say looking dangerous, his skipper Nick Zammit agrees with me. And left-footed, I believe he's right-footed, certainly the goal that he scored was right-footed, that one on the left. And the non-preferred foot volley, always long odds. And sure enough, swerving away over the bar. But again, another South East shot, and another attempt by Clarence Zebras to play out, and another attempt by South East to press, and another successful winning of the ball back, which finishes with successfully winning a free kick from which they can try to create another dangerous set piece. So you'd have to say South East responded very well in the opening minutes of the second half, knowing what they had to do. Got back in the game, coughed it up from some poor set-piece defending, and have then gone back in the last few minutes to looking like doing all the right things. Again, it'll be Whitehall to swing it in. This one a little more dangerous, and asking some questions of Jones. He got two good touches on it, but that was a little further away. Some of Whitehall's deliveries have been a little close and a little straight to Jones. That one to the back post, and the keeper came, tried for two bites, got an initial couple of palms on it, but one of those ones that keepers, particularly slightly diminutive keepers, don't really like. And again, South East able to attack it in numbers, finished up with another shot on goal from South East. They're all of a sudden piling up in the last few minutes, but Zebras do have a problem here. A player down who felt some of the impact of that little cluster in front of goal. Might have copped a little whack as the ball was hit goalwards. It gives both teams a chance to come to the sideline. The scoreline has advanced a great deal in the 10-15 minutes since half time, but still amounts to the same thing. Zebras the goal advantage. South East looking considerably better and considerably more dangerous in this half. Both teams chance to have a chat. Zebras have 3 or 4 players in with Murphy, including Ryan Lynch, including Bosco. Just talking a little about the structure, perhaps talking about South East have adjusted and changed their structure. Shackloth is still seated and relaxed, but had a word or two with Quinlan and just getting some advice on to his defensive players. Again, Zammit leading a little bit of organisation and discussion as well. We're ready for the restart. I think it may have been Milicic who was down. South East rather cheekily suggesting that he needs a concussion test, but the referee doesn't seem to feel so. That was a strong shoulder by Walsh to keep the ball moving forward. Milicic not showing any ill effects, assuming the player had gone down. I didn't get a good look at his number, but 2 quick touches and ability to clear long for Moses Bosco to wrestle with Zammit. 2 strapping physiques, but Zammit, with all his experience, was able to prevail. And my apologies, it must have been Hatcher, the centre-back, who was down because he had to leave the field of play, unnoticed by me. And having been off for a minute, he's just re-entered the field of play. So it wasn't Milicic, it was the other leadership defender in the side. And Hatcher showing no ill effects, roosting it forward. Sartori looked inbound, but only found Johnson. But in the end, Nick Zammit steps in again and wins it. It can't stick to the foot of Hoogsloot, who will then press with a considerable physical advantage over Ryan Lynch. And won enough ball, did he? I don't think he did. I think it's been given as a free kick. No, it is a throw-in. Enough ball and not enough man to warrant a free kick. Put in quickly, but too close to the back post. It was swung in by Lynch, but it will actually allow South East United to come out quickly here. And the through ball, but the flag is up against Smith, I think it is. It was a promising break. It went right from that set piece that was swung over to the right-hand side, and then South East bursting away. One of their more dangerous-looking counter-attacks of the game, along with the one that Sartori scored from. But again, just run too early by Smith, and the offside flag putting an end to matters. Bosco and Fermity linking up on that side, looking for Lynch. Couldn't find him. Hatcher will gobble that up all day long. And with not just accuracy, but clearance in finding Lynch's feet. But he wasn't able to turn. It was stolen from him. And now the extremely dangerous Sartori comes forward again and plays an extremely dangerous ball, which could at the back post potentially, and I think it was in some ways a miss kick that ended up being an extremely dangerous ball, just sliced and rolled in the direction of Whitehall, and sliding in at the back post, couldn't quite turn it goalwards. But again, a direct play down the left of South East. Sam Sartori making the running, and another decent opportunity for South East United, flexing their muscles with a much better start to the second half. Substitution about to occur. An emotional moment probably for Nick Roland, who's going to make his debut as an NPL player. It was the gentleman who almost got on the end of that chance just now, Whitehall, who's coming off, and Nick Roland into the mix for South East United, and heading straight to left back, which must mean, and it does mean, that Lynch... I've mucked that up. Roland is heading to right, attacking midfield, to the right wing, in front of Lynch at fullback. Now Twos, finding space, and able to find Bosco. Bosco again looking to link up this trio of Bosco, Twos and Lynch. The overlap was there, but Quinlan stood his ground and made sure that the ball couldn't reach Richardson. Sam Bosco, actually, I think it was. Again, long throw, order of the day. Milicic it is, and that is long and flat, and will result in a shot on goal, which was well blocked on the line. That was dangerous at the near post. It was one of the longer, flatter long throws we've seen. And having scored from a set piece to go ahead again, that was extremely dangerous. And again, you might just give question marks about the hesitancy of the South East defending. A long throw to the near post. And the players who reacted quickest were all Zebras players. It was well blocked on the line, mind you, and it keeps South East United within one goal of parity. Nick Roland getting involved there. And Southeast winning the free kick that can, again, calm them down and maybe get them going the other way again. But for all of their better impetus and better finishing product going forward, set pieces also looking dangerous for Clarence Zebras against Southeast. That is a good win by Hoogsloot. But again, just lacking the power to test Jones. It was swung in. He was in a deeper position than his previous header. But again, from that range, just couldn't get the power or direction into the corner to make it a decent chance. Here's Twos running the left channel, but given away. Southeast able to recapture. Hoogsloot now looking like he's playing as an out-and-out number 9. Doesn't reach him on this occasion. Jacob Sartori, only as far as Lynch. And again, straight into the channel. Devereaux will come across. Twos will take the throw in the end, deciding that perhaps trying to put his foot on it and Cruyff turn against Devereaux wasn't the good odds solution. It will again load up, though, for Milicic to power in one of these long throws that came close to making it 3-1 to Zebras just a few minutes ago. Shackloff giving some encouragement for his troops, wanting them to step it up. Again, another long post, a low throw again to the near post. Devereaux this time stood his ground and got this one away to relative safety. But Milicic, 2-on-2 out here, Milicic and Lynch. And it's well handled by Jacob Sartori, although the ball into the middle was probably not exactly what he intended. And it is going to result in a shot on goal to Hatcher ultimately. The big American centre-back, his eyes lit up. He was on the edge of the area. It was bobbling slightly and he put his foot through it but couldn't get it on target. But again, dealt with better, but the long throw from Clarence, from Milicic, again a source of problems and consternation for Southeast. I guess most dangerous good flat long throws are going to do that. Zammit battling again with the much shorter Twos, and this one goes to the advantage of Southeast. Oh, Richardson knew what he was doing. Back header with just enough in the end to reach Jones. Tricky situation on the edge of his box there. Walsh again pouring forward from right back, linking up with teammate, but not too difficult in the end for Jones. Again, alternating momentum and a couple of decent minutes here for Southeast. But Zebras, chance to build and find the width through Bosco. Doesn't whip it in this time. Looks for Moses, and it would, if it had stuck to the foot of Moses Bosco, have been offside anyway. But again, had he been in a deeper position and stayed onside, it was a tricky ball. And this time Sartori challenged by Richardson, firmly challenged by Richardson. And no problem, according to Josh Clement, both going for the ball. And Richardson coming out on top. Clarence now feeling the need to change the game. It'll be a double substitution. Their second stoppage of play, but a double substitution for them. The players coming on will be Caleb Haas and Kane Hatcher. And their diminutive striker who had such a promising pre-season will not be scoring today. Sam Twos is off. And another player with a game built on pace and trickery, but who's had a big 60-65 minutes. Zach Pentony also removed. I imagine that Twos may have got one of the bookings that ensued from that feisty melee early in the second half, because I think I heard Murphy saying a yellow card to him as he came off. So no precautions taken there, and the opportunities for yellow cards continue, because this little clash going on between Hoogsloot and Richardson, two stocky fellas who don't mind putting it about. And there were some high foots. The plural of feet is not foots, it's feet. There were some high feet going in, and again, the ultimate outcome will be an opportunity now for South East to put a dangerous set piece in. No Whitehall this time. All of his were floating in high to straight or back post areas. The last of his was the most dangerous looking and caused some issues for Jones. Quinlan now taking over right-footed in-swinging set-piece duties. More of the same, and it is in-swinging, and it is won by a Sartori head in there for South East United, but only with the ability, that was Sam Sartori, but only with the ability to nod it away from goal. And no one coming in suitably at the back post to make more of it. But yet again, South East United had a fairly toothless first half in attack. They've created plenty of half chances in this second half, half chances or better, but just looking for, again, one or two quality opportunities to really bring themselves back into the game. Chance for Walsh to surge forward with his power and dribbling ability, and he's going to take plenty of players out of the game in doing so, but in the end there was enough body on him to make the last touch a heavy one, heavy through to Jones. Again, those two, this time was Jackson Richardson, who's had a big few minutes. Sartori and Bosco battling for it out here. Bosco comes out better, but his clearance is looking like it will have South East on the attack again. Probably not, because Bosco will link up with the newly introduced Kane Hatcher. Again, Clarence not quite able to consolidate, but here they probably can through Miles Bosco, straight on the attack, and the newly fresh Haas. A chance to go one-on-one with Devereaux here, wait for support, hold it up and get teammates up with him. Again, time is on the side of Clarence, so forward and attacking and trying to score goals is good, but in many ways getting forward and keeping the ball, creating overloads and knocking it around and taking time off the clock, just as useful. That's a solid winning challenge. And now Lynch presented. He's got plenty around him. He's going to need something special to get through there. Went to ground. There was a talk of a penalty. I think it was only ever half-hearted. Clement was having none of it. I don't think he was ever interested, but predictably enough, the Clarence bench made something of it. Hoogslut's making something of this, feeling that the much more definitive Johnson, who's on the ball now, may have tackled and fouled him, and then Johnson not far away, deciding that rather than continuing on into the likes of Zammit and Devereaux, he might try his luck from distance, and he wasn't far away, a foot or so. Quinlan now looking to rebuild for South East. Here's Hoogslut, increasingly in the game. Was popping up at 9. If he's still there, he's definitively false nining at this moment. I think he's probably been told to go everywhere, get the ball and link up with his teammates, such as his strength and hold-up play and ability to work as a target man in both central and high areas. Lynch puts Hatcher away. Some rare air here for the big, tall American centre-back, getting down the side. Sartori slows him up temporarily and then much more permanently, and I think that's pretty well worked by Sartori in the end. It'll come off Hatcher for a South East throw, was the way that I read it. I think that's the way the assistant referee read it as well. There's a player down for Clarence Zebras on the far side. I think, given the positioning and who else I can see still on their feet, I think it's Moses Bosco. The trainer is on, and we'll go back to the familiar pattern of players coming over to the sideline for a drink and a chat. Shackloth delivering some instructions. Sartori, particularly Shackloth in Sartori's ear, geeing him up, encouraging him. Definitely South East's best attacking threat in this half. And Hoogslut coming more into the game as well. The ability of Hoogslut to use his strength and power to hold the ball up in attacking positions, bring those faster players like Sartori into play. And it's going to be a fourth and by definition final substitution for Clarence Zebras, having used all three of their opportunities to stop the game in this half. Young Elliot Lagos, given very high raps by his boss, Brian Murphy, in pre-season, back at the club and on as well. I didn't notice the player coming off. But yes, Lagos on for his first start and straight away into the action, winning that header. Jacob Sartori looking long. Zebras managed to regroup and get numbers around it. Jones forward. Haas, the other substitute, young substitute, straight away in the action, but Quinlan has done exceptionally there. 3 players around him, very little space to work in, able to move well and agile in tight spaces, and ultimately win a free kick and an opportunity for South East to load up. And perhaps in recognition of the clock creeping on and time running out, South East are going to send everybody except the keeper and 2 players forward, and will be the keeper Stalker who actually delivers the ball fairly straight. It is won by a big head, and not a big head, but a South East head. I believe it was Devereaux getting forward from the back and winning that one. Again, looked like the sort of ideal ball that you might want Hoogsloot on the end of. It was just, again, a bit far outside of the line of goal for Devereaux to really get it dangerously heading for goal. By the time the work it takes to get it on target takes the sting and power out of it. Walsh lining up with the long throw. Hoogsloot's chest again to the fore and set up fairly nicely for Smith, who, again, as has been the case with most of those snapshot long shots today, just the fact that the ball was bouncing, nice hard surface, bouncing sat up for Cade Smith, and he got underneath it. Again, half chances for South East, but nothing definitive in front of goal. Time ticking away. Jones again going long. Zebras very much set up in a half block, and the same with mid block with basically all players on the pitch now in the centre third of the ground before breaking out. Long from Stalker, long to decent effect. It's got the worst. It's probably going to win a throw in that far corner. It does. Probably a throw that will allow Walsh to load up with the long opportunity. Nice dry warm day. No need for the Premier League towel for Walsh, who will fling this one in again high. Again, predictably, Hoogsloot, the man who wanted to get underneath it and flick on the next dangerous passage of play. Take 2. Walsh will have another chance to load up. And you would suggest Hoogsloot is the target again. Indeed he is. He wins the flick on this time. Looked a good one. Sartori trying to get in front of Jones, but the keeper was brave and alert and got to the front post smartly to make sure that South East's standout player of the half, if not the game, Sartori, couldn't get across for a dangerous chance. Jones again with the opportunity now to take some time off the clock. Once he's picked it up, of course, the new 8-second rule applies. And he's not getting anywhere near keeping it that long, despite time wasting being on the side of Zebras at the moment. A decent chance here down the left. Here's the new young substitute, Haas, looking for some space. Again, just showed too much of it in the end, crowded out. But his fellow substitute, they're rushing forward and trying to make something of it. A chance here, though, for South East. They've only got 2 on 4 up. Again, the power of Hoogsloot important there in a bid to keep the move running. Smith down the back here against Milicic, not wanting the ball to run out. Milicic, all that experience, all that guile, leadership. Knew time was in his favour. Knew the touchline was in his favour and saw it out. But the same trends that are coming into overseas elite football. Importance of set pieces, which we've certainly seen today. Prevalence of long throws. Doesn't take long for the fans and the semi-professional and amateur players in other nations to cotton on and follow suit. Haas again, his pace looking a decent weapon for Clarence on that left-hand side since he's come on. But snuffed out decently, I think, by Zammit. Again, Clarence in no hurry. Long up the line. It'll find Lynch. closely guarded by Zammit. And Walsh coming across, but he has shrugged off both of them. That is incredible by Lynch. That was an amazing little turn by the person who's been clearly Clarence's most dangerous attacker this game. But to get past an experienced, just turn off and get past an experienced centre-back like Zammit like that was a real treat. It's, again, a range war from midfield. Smith will try to make something of that, but Jackson Richardson stepping across with good composure and tidying up. Clay Smith fighting a one-man war here against a number of Zebras. And Lynch with some space out on the right. Met by Quinlan. Met well by Quinlan. Met brilliantly by Quinlan. And straight away looks to put his side on the counter. Collins was, again, pushing the final line and looking to get in behind. They'll get another opportunity here, but that is fairly clearly impeding the movement and holding back the lower body of the Zebras substitute, Elliot Lagos. And time for a second of 3 possible stoppages and substitution for South East United. Changing the game, Daniel Harris is going to come on to chase the game, and the player withdrawn is Clay Smith, who's had a shot or two and some big moments in the game, but Daniel Harris now into the action and heading into a position that suggests that he will play on the attacking right-hand side for South East United. That might change after the set piece which is bombed in and which Devereaux, again, not the tallest, but strong in the air and does well to get it away. End to end again, but no, not in a controlled way that South East could really threaten from. Back pass comfortably dealt with by Jones. We'll see if this can be loaded up as a long throw. Indeed it is. Not by Walsh that time. I think that was the new boy Harris trying his throw, throwing his hand at it. Certainly the new boy Harris immediately lumping it into the box, and an ambitious bicycle kick. It wasn't a bad effort really by Pat Quinlan in the air, getting forward from the back. Right-footed attempt at the bicycle kick, just was closely guarded enough to make sure that it wasn't particularly dangerous. Got it on by Hootsuit, and a duel between Hatcher and Collins was certainly close enough to the penalty spot in the 6-yard box to be of concern to Zebras. And it needed the very experienced Hatcher to come across and deal with it at the expense of a southeast corner. They haven't had many in the game. They had a couple of dangerous ones at the start of the half. Harris has obviously got some set-piece chops as well, because he's taken that corner, having come on, swung it to the back post, too far to the back post, and attempt to bring it back and keep the move going, but sliced out for a goal kick. Again, the clock, tick-tock, tick-tock, working against South East. That important factor of not panicking and not throwing it forward too quickly, but also being desperate. That's a bounce that came off Haas. It was a dangerous situation, but for the fact that the rebound off Haas meant that Lynch was in an offside position. But for that, it was 2-on-2, and just the long ball forward created some difficulty for Zammit and Devereaux. The offside flag to the rescue. Lynch again, and again with South East having to push forward and chase this game. Just some openings sort of showing up here for Zebras as they get forward. Some openings on the counter-attack. There's some youthful legs on the park, youthful fresh legs in the feet of Lagos, and Haas on the opposite wing. Here is Lagos. Finds Lynch. He's got Bosco to his outside. He's got Haas making a run through the middle. Lynch will go himself. Fair enough, perhaps, given the impact he had in the first half, but of all the shots he's had, that was left-footed and tame, and straight at Stalker, who goes long. Milicic coming through and taking control. And then Harris, newly introduced to the game. A couple of long throws, couple of corners, a couple of set pieces, a couple of touches, and a little bit of a word in the ear of Milicic as he came across and put it into touch. And we understand we're in the dying throes here, and they'll be in the order of 3 or 4 minutes of injury time. I apologise that I haven't got a clock in front of me. I'll try harder next time, or I'll run one on my phone. But we're certainly into the dying embers, and you can tell by the intensity of the game and the speed and the urgency with which South East United are trying to get forward. Again, the introduction of Harris, who's taken over these long throws from Walsh in the predictable direction of Hoogsloot, and it'll be a shot in the end. Just broke out to Nick Roland, who didn't really have a lot of space, but from range he managed to get it onto his right foot and out of his feet, and fairly comfortable down the chops of Jones. Again, Zebras forward in the expectation that keeping the ball forward for a minute or two is perhaps worth almost as much to them as a goal at the moment. Back into the mid-block. Quinlan will launch this relatively long. Flicked on by Sartori, flicked on again by Collins, and then flicked on finally by Hoogsloot into the channel for Nick Roland to chase, but I believe that had it not gone out for a goal kick, that the assistant referee's flag probably would have put a stop to any danger. It's going to be a full press ordered by Adam Shackloth here. You heard the words there. There's no opportunity now to sit off in a mid-block and wait for Zebras to give it away or make a mistake. It has to be full gamble. And with Hoogsloot obviously strong, not the absolute quickest available on the southeast, right? Just getting down that left channel, and Hatcher crossed fairly comfortably with his speed to deal with it. And we're hearing the alarms going off in the dugouts, which suggests that we're now entering that few minutes of stoppage time. It's all or nothing now with the long throw from Harris. Cut across from southeast, and it wasn't comfortably cleared. Harris a goal, and blocked off the line. I think it was possibly Quinlan, but it was heading for Jones, but taking no chances, blocked off the line, and then a reckless challenge put in by Devereaux. Probably understandably. No point in letting Zebras break away there. He somewhat cynically came in and stopped Zebras getting away. The orders are 7 minutes, in fact. So the Clarence bench is ordering watches set for 7 minutes. I'll take my cue from them and assume that that's what we're looking at. But obviously Nick Devereaux in the book, late on here. Could have been probably anything out of... Could have certainly possibly a reckless challenge, but might also have counted as a promising attack, given how far forward all Southeast players were, and Zebras with the opportunity to break. It's given away to Jackson Richardson, confident to step out of defence and then play it back to his partner Hatcher. Palmer will keep this in on the right and keep it in to the advantage of winning a throw, taking some more time off the clock. Again, giving Zebras a chance to try and entrench themselves in the front third. Frustration building a little bit for Southeast here. They know the time's ticking away. Again, that balance of needing to build good attacks versus fast attacks. Bosco launches it in. No attempt to hold the ball in the corner there for Zebras. Bit early for that. And again, Lynch. Oh, and a good save in the end for Stalker. Lynch trying to work it onto his right foot. Took a couple of touches to do so. Did so in the end. And again, looks very, very dangerous. It is ultimately an offside call that slows things down and gives Southeast another chance to launch. It goes from Stalker straight to the predictable target of Hoogsloot, who headed it on beautifully. Couldn't quite get in on the rebound, and then put in by Daniel Harris, the substitute. Jones had run out to deal with the through ball. It broke to Harris. He must have been something in the order of 30 plus, getting on 35 metres out. But he must have got the shout or got his head up well, because Jones was out. He's tried and speculated, and he just couldn't quite get it on target. He was a couple of metres off. There were defenders getting back and defenders probably getting out to close him down, but a scary moment for Zebras there. And again, they're not able to get out here, Zebras. Devereaux will lock it forward. Again, the aggressive shout is full press. Southeast know that There's no point doing anything except pushing high, pressing high, taking risks in behind, and throwing the kitchen sink, and possibly the kitchen table if they can afford it as well, at Zebras in these dying minutes and seconds. Harris, who had that unusual chance a few moments ago, bombs the long one in again. I think it was Hatcher who got up and dealt with that there, and away on the break is Lynch. His teammate went to ground. I'm not sure what happened there, Haas, but Lynch is on the break here as well. Players from Southeast eventually crowding back and crowding him out. And I don't know where, I think as he was going down, Lynch may have left a stud or two on Walsh there, or certainly as he was trying to keep control of the ball, played a slightly nasty... actually, I think I'm getting an indication that probably as he was going to ground, he may have grabbed an opponent's wrist. Hence the free kick. Lynch not quick to get up. Obviously no intention of letting Southeast United play this quickly and get on with the game, and for that he will go into Josh Clement's notebook with a yellow card for delaying the restart somewhat cynically. Stalker knocks it forward, that time Devereaux, who again underrated in the air, got up, flicked it on, but it was flicked on straight and with power towards Jones, and not in a way that any of his teammates could get onto in a dangerous position. Zebras now again. Haas, chance to take the ball into high, wide areas and keep it there. Chance to take little 10-second, 20-second, 30-second blocks off the clock. Get a set piece. Get some relief. Get some organisation behind the ball. They have 1, 2, 3. They have fully 6 outfield players back near the halfway line for this throw. And just the 3 or 4 buzzing around on that flank to try and keep it there and consolidate more and take some time off it. That was distinctly ambitious, but again, it achieves the purpose from Kane Hatcher of forcing another goal kick, which will take an accumulation of seconds further off the clock. Aware of that, Stalker is banging these well and truly into the Clarence Zebras half, getting 3/4 of the way towards goal, and by attracting an aerial contest there, it's also attracted a free kick, an opportunity for Daniel Harris to load it in to the likes of Hoogsloot, Devereaux, Collins. And Zebras are not home here. We've seen some decent set pieces from Harris in this last few minutes since he came on, and he has a chance here to be an instant hero on Southeast United's NPL debut, but it won't happen with that one. Again, too close to Jones. It came out authoritatively. Zammit now, the captain leading from the front, taking responsibility and deciding that he'll be part of this attack. That's ball's very close to coming down and smacking me on the bonce, but didn't quite. Devereaux again. Virtually anyone in this side can take a long throw, it would seem. Devereaux that time. And Southeast again can consolidate in here. And the foul is given against Southeast. It's given for Nick Zammit for backing in. Collins, I think it was, who Josh Clement must have interpreted as backing inwards to Zammit and therefore not giving him an opportunity to contest fairly under the ball. And that will be a relief to Zebras because they can take the ability to get it forward. Again, try to keep it forward. And Zammit has his pocket picked here by Haas. And Haas doing well. They look like a little... Whoa, I tell you what. I think there was some contact, but Clement has decided that the attacking player, I think Haas has initiated it there. Understandable. But Haas was certainly making his way dangerously into the area. The 2-on-1, he had the measure of Zammit, and it took a good last-ditch tackle to keep him out. Straight away up to the other end, straight away out of play, straight away for another long throw. Daniel Harris, I think I've called his name since he came on more than some of the players who've been on for 90, and he launches it again. Extremely long. Hoogsloot again with the flick on. Can't go past a good formula. Out to Harris again. Searching in, right-footed cross. Jones goes for it. Jones collides. It is going to be a free kick given. It's not going to matter whether it's a free kick, a goal kick or anything, because that is the final whistle. A really brave and ferocious second half improvement by South East United as they chased at least a point on their NPL debut. But it's Clarence Zebras who, in this Eastern Shore derby, taste victory for round one this year. It was one way in the first half. It was South East United showing how much more they've got to offer in the second. They had several half chances, both sides looking for direct options, looking for through balls and floated balls. But in the end, despite building and improving and having those half chances, it does finish in defeat for the first NPL game at the paddock for South East United. Some really positive signs, both sides, with good new talent on show and good established talent showing their wares. South East, I think, showed enough to suggest promise and optimism. Obviously, Zebras absolutely delighted, a team that's been through some dark and tough times, who've been through the ringer, and that makes victory taste especially nice. And it's Zebras who, after a strong and impressive first half, balanced, dogged and hard-working second half, have held out a second half onslaught in some ways from South East United to mean that this final game of round one of the Tasmania NPL and the first game ever played at the South East complex out here at Sorell finishes South East United 1, Clarence Zebras 2. All right, just some interviews. Do you want Brian first? Winning gaffer first? Do you want me to take anything? Hang on, I'll get this.